Hey, what's good, everybody? JT Wolf here from the 14 Rings NFC East podcast. I'm here with my brother from another mother and Lucas. I'll be asking him questions
Jesus.
on this draft prospect. We are doing NFL draft profiles, which are going to be exclusive on our YouTube page. Like, comment, and subscribe. But that being said, let's get things started with the draft prospect in Rueben Bain Jr. Man, where can I start about Rueben Bain Jr.? He played at the U. And he weighs at 6'3", 275.
Big fella.
He's a big fella for sure. For sure. One thing I can say about Rueben Bain is that this dude is dynamic. His first step off the ball is probably one of the quickest ones that I've seen so far this upcoming season. And he has power to go behind it. He's quick with his hands. He knows what to do with his hands. And he gets home. Now, the one thing you could say about him is that he has small arms, short arms. They're saying his wingspan is about 30 and 1/4. I don't know what that means. They just said it's short. But I'll get into that in a little bit. But one thing I could tell you about Rueben Bain Jr. is that he gets the job done in what he does. I got a chance to see this guy up close and personal in the college football playoff. This dude was disruptive against Texas A&M. He had a blocked field goal in that game. I think he had a sack. I think he had a couple of QB hits. He was being very disruptive to Texas A&M. That was where I saw the Miami defense at their best going up against an SEC team. I knew after that game they were going to be for real in this postseason in college football. The next matchup they went up against Ohio State was disruptive there. There was times he had to take some steps out, but he was just playing tough. He was playing almost every snap. They had to get this dude off the field to give him some air. Now, one thing there, I can see his conditioning. Maybe they need to pair that up a little bit more just to kind of get him NFL ready. And then when they went up against Ole Miss, he was a factor there. He made Trinidad chainless. He made Trinidad very out of place in what he was doing for the most part. He was doing his best to get home, and he just made it disruptive. And then in the national championship, he was there. He did some stuff. They came up short with the national championship, but overall, I thought Miami had a successful season from where they were from last season to now. The defense showed up when it needed to, and I give all the credit to Miami for that. Rueben Bain was definitely one of those dudes that was being a major factor. And one thing that I can say about Rueben Bain Jr. is that when you need him to make a play, he's going to make that play. Player comparisons for what he's capable of doing. I can see him as a Dwight Freeney. I can see him as a John Randall, if you know John Randall. I can see him as Chris Long and Melvin Ingram. Those are my comparisons for Rueben Bain. The one that I like the most is Dwight Freeney because I feel like I see shades of Freeney in Rueben Bain when he plays, and he's physical. He has a quick first step. He utilizes hands correctly. I think the only weakness for him is that the criticism on his arms, where I feel that's not right of a player because he may not have the measurables of the arm length, but he still hits home. And that's what you need in a guy who could play edge, possibly another position. That's what I'm going to ask my brother Lucas. Lucas, how you feel about Rueben Bain and possibly a guy you could see at drafting at 7?
Well, he's the second best defensive lineman in the draft. I'll say that. Hot take. This is probably the hottest take. I don't know if he's going to play edge with his size in the NFL. I think, honestly, he might be one of those, sack leaders at the D tackle position. Like you said before, he's 6'3", 275 pounds. He is versatile. Wingspan don't mean as much when you're on the inside versus on the outside, right?
But it's still light.
I'm just saying. I know it's
That's
light.
light.
He could add a couple more pounds. I'm not saying that, and maybe he's a hybrid. We do have defensive tackle edge hybrids, right? We've seen it with Javon Kinlaw, right? So it is possible to have those. I think that you could see him line up on the inside more than you would expect, and honestly, it might be where he thrives. Do the Commanders
In
need
the
a guy like at the D tackle? I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
So what?
Now he's not a nose tackle. To be clear, he's not a nose tackle.
So what?
He's not
Pairing him with Johnny Newton?
I mean, look, if you want to get 2 D tackles that can rush the quarterback, that's something you can do now. Now, like I said, he's the second best edge rusher on my big board. He's not even. He's like in the bottom 10 of my like pick at number 7 if I had my druthers. He's not in the top 5, and that's not any. I just don't like his fit with us. I don't think he fits what we are trying to do, which is get to. I'm not saying that he's a bad sack. He had 9 sacks last year. But there's a guy that eventually you guys are going to be talking about, and I am going to be back on the show for him because he is my number 1 option. But
number one.
But we'll get there when we get there. But Rueben Bain is not a bad player. I honestly think he fits the mold more of what, like, say, a Dallas would do if he falls that far, which I don't think he will. He does feel like a Dallas or an Eagles type player. Yeah, I mean, heck, the Giants. I don't think
he's not getting past 15. Honestly, I don't think you see him getting past 12, to be honest with
you. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Giants don't really need another edge, but like,
I wouldn't. I think they're solid. They got Brian Burns. They're actually trying to trade
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Thibodeau. Yeah.
I think you guys should trade for him, but that's another story. Number 20 for Kayvon?
Nah, I'm looking at. Well, I'll get to him at a later part.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. But anyway, I'll let you get back to the other guy.
But yeah, like Rueben Bain, he was very productive this college postseason. Actually, I think he did a little more than David Bailey, the guy who you may assume is number 1. And that's just my hot take.
Well, he played more games. That's what happened.
If you say so.
I do.
But overall, dude, Rueben Bain had 9.5 sacks. He was very disruptive in the postseason for the college football playoff, and he made an immediate impact. And that's one thing that I see in a player. When you go out there and give it your all, that's everything I need to see in a player, because he's not leaving anything out on the field. He's leaving everything out there and not just pretty much just emptying it every single time he's out there on the field. Now, this guy is a top 10 talent. If he falls to 12, I can see my boys, the Cowboys, getting him. But if someone else gets him before that, I can see either Arizona, I could see the Saints, I could see
our team doing it. I wouldn't be the biggest fan, but I could see them doing it.
Yeah, like it's a possibility, because who knows? Maybe the other guy who's number 1 goes before 7.
I mean that's I honestly think that's a real possibility. Yeah.
And at that point, you have no other choice. Get an edge. Sure. But overall, I can see Rueben Bain and fits in a 3-4. He can fit in a 4-3, but mainly a 3-4 at the moment. I can see him being moved around a lot, where I think his conditioning is going to play a factor, where I think he's well conditioned, but he can be even more. My final thoughts on this is that Rueben Bain Jr. is a dynamic player. He can, if you ask him to get home, he will get home. I like his hand movement. You know what? I'm going to throw another player comparison. I can see him as an Aaron Donald.
That's high praise. Okay.
Yeah, I said it.
Say it with your chest if you believe it.
Yeah, I believe it. I watched the film. I watched the whole film. But yeah, Rueben Bain Jr., he has high praise from me, and hopefully he has high praise from other teams out there who's looking for a solid edge guy. I definitely know he can set the edge. If you want to move him around, you can do that as well. Rueben Bain Jr., he's definitely that guy that a lot of people should be looking at. definitely look at him at the combine coming up. No doubt in my mind, I think he'll be there. But with that being said, if you like what you saw from the episode or any NFC East content, subscribe to our YouTube. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, along with YouTube. You can also follow us on our socials at Twitter, X, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Until next time, blessings.
Deuces.